Joining us right now is the man himself, Warren Petersen.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got to feel pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel really good running on adrenaline. I think I've slept about 3 hours in the last 24 hours. We went to bed late, got up early, and we've been at it all day today. But obviously very excited. Polling does work. We've kind of been following the polls the last couple of weeks, and the results actually came right in line with the polls. So we weren't super shocked by the results, but obviously really excited for the big victory.
Yeah, and we did see some ads, with Glassman where he had, the backing of the sheriff and even Trump, I guess.
No, he didn't have the backing of Trump.
Okay.
And the reality is we had 10 times as many endorsements. But
Okay.
I think what happened is with him putting out something, acting like he had the Trump endorsement, he's had to retract several endorsements. There's been a number of things that he said along the way, including things he said about me that were absolutely false. And so I think that's part of the reason why he lost, was because, just a lack of credibility.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, for him, I saw a sign one day, and it was like, Rodney Glassman has changed parties 4 different times.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he continues to run, he keeps running, and he keeps losing. I mean, this is like the 6th or 7th time that he's run for something and has lost.
It's the 8th time that he's lost. Yeah, in a row. He's been running for 20 years. He's lost 8 times. I thought it was actually 7, but we learned he had also ran for mayor. So it's actually 8 times in a row. And I think that was a big part of it. People want somebody they can rely on. I'm a lifelong conservative. I've never changed my positions. And that was obviously a big part of, I think, people making up their minds.
Yeah. And I mean, clearly, your debate, it was pretty heated between you and Glassman. You guys said some things back and forth. He brought up, I just wanted to ask you about this moving forward, because now you're going to face off with Chris Mays. Chris Mays has quite a bit of money, but obviously you have to be feeling good. The GOP is going to be backing you, obviously, no doubt. And he had said too that he kind of criticized your record as an attorney during the debate, and said that you became an attorney 3 years ago. So what is your response to that? Moving forward now to the general?
It's another thing where he wasn't honest. He was projecting his lack of experience onto me. The facts are this. Out of the 3 of us, Chris Mays included, I'm the only person who has prosecuted a trial at the state level. So that has been proven by public record. Chris Mays has prosecuted 0 trials. So when it comes to what this office really is management, it's policy, and it's your legal acumen. When it comes to management, I've managed one of the largest institutions now going into the 4th year, the Arizona Senate. Policy, I'm the only person who's written laws for 14 years, been the judiciary chair and the rules chairman. So what it really boils down to between Chris Mays and myself is going to be, do you agree with her extreme views, or do you agree with somebody who wants to run the office that in a way that matches the values of Arizona? Chris Mays is an extreme liberal. She barely won. People thought she'd go to the middle. She's gone to the far left. She's gone against Arizona on 80-20 issues like no boys and girls sports. She wouldn't defend that law. She wouldn't protect our girls. I actually defended that law as Senate President. Furthermore, she hasn't kept Arizona safe. She wouldn't defend a law that protects Arizonans from sex offenders, another law I did defend and won in court. And finally, she gave horrible legal advice, making it sound like you could shoot law enforcement, which is why for the first time in Arizona history, I have the full support of law enforcement, all of the endorsements, and the sitting AG has no support from law enforcement.
Yeah, I do remember that comment. It certainly was controversial, and I think she did kind of come out and had to apologize, right?
Actually,
that.
She did. She came out and she doubled down.
She did.
And so I think that's when the sheriffs came out with the letter, the APA came out with the letter. Every law enforcement organization came out with something and condemned her. The Arizona House called for her resignation. The Arizona Senate called for her resignation. That's never happened in the history of Arizona.
Yeah.
So this is why this is really unprecedented. I have the overwhelming support from law enforcement, from the legal community, and it's why we're going to win this fall.
I mentioned the comments with President Trump this morning on Truth Social, but talking about the win with the GOP, and then also mentioned with Turning Point USA endorsed candidates such as yourself with that. I know we had last weekend, there was also the influencer Scott Pressler, who was a big part of the 24 campaign. How did that help you with this weekend with doing those outreach programs that you had, but having the backing of TPUSA? Do you feel like that's going to make you a lot stronger candidate for the general election.
Look, having Scott Presler come down and helping knock doors and kind of close things out, that was a nice little push at the end. I think that, made a difference with kind of those last-minute voters, some of your day of voters. What we're really looking at here in the general election is broad-based support. I'm really honored to say, out of all the candidates in the race, I have the most broad-based support. I have support from Republicans. I have support from independents. I also have some support from some Democrats, too. So the reason is because what this office is about, it really boils down to public safety. And Arizonans know they can trust me on public safety, and Arizonans do not trust Chris Mays on public safety. And that's really what this office is about. It shouldn't be about political lawfare, which is what she's all about, and it shouldn't be about environmental radicalism, which is all she's about. It should be about keeping Arizona safe. That's my focus and my goal, and it's why I have so much broad-based support.
We did talk a lot about Trump endorsements during the primary, and Stan Barnes, who you know extremely well, was on our show last night, and he talked, and actually today too, he was on Fox 10 Talks kind of running down what happened last night, and Mike Noble too, they talked a lot about how Trump's support during a primary is very beneficial this election cycle, but that in the general that it might not be as helpful depending on how people are feeling right now with the war in Iran, gas prices up. Do you feel like that could hurt you potentially in the fall, or do you feel like you are, as you said, you represent everyone, and you want to bring more people into the tent rather than maybe hardcore MAGA?
Well, to be clear, I didn't get the Trump. Trump said I would be a leader that would turn Arizona around this fall. He didn't give a formal endorsement. I would welcome the endorsement. We are in the game of addition here, not of subtraction. So right now we've consolidated the Republican base. We're working with independents, and we're also bringing in some Democrats that are business friendly, they're public safety friendly. That's a really broad base, and it's plenty of voters that are going to support our campaign for a victory in November.
Okay. Yeah, and it's all about bringing people into the tent.
That's what it's all about.
And I know that Andy Diggs there's already been some talk too about kind of how he's trying to do that moving forward, especially in the general election.
Okay, well, we've got about a minute left. Is anything we can add just going towards November with what you're looking forward to these last few months, especially where things are going to tighten, they're going to heat up? Yeah, well, I mean, there's a real clear choice here. Do people want to allow Arizona to continue to drift to become more like California with our current executive branch, or do citizens here want to keep Arizona the wonderful and great state that it is? I'm going to focus on fighting crime, defending our laws and our Constitution, and rooting out fraud and corruption, and keeping Arizona safe and prosperous. And I think that's what voters want, and I think that's why you're going to see, a red wave in the executive branch this fall.
When do you expect ads to start airing for you? Pretty soon?
Yeah, I mean, we ran them up. We ran them up through.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, we are out of time.
Sorry, we are out of time.
Okay.